it's a key to success to not have to know everything before you go out there and take that risk.
Fearless leaders go on stage and they don't bitch about it. And they're not overly concerned about, you're supposed to go up there.
We grew up poor. I'm talking about we would go to Goodwill. We would buy clothes by the pound.
We're in the season where people are coming back. And it's because of how we handled the exit, which I learned from you.
In this business, if you have not touched money and you get into the mortgage business, you need to have the right mentors. You can talk to you about taxes, about investing, about watching your money living below your means.
Yeah. Our goal is to be the largest brokerage that is catering to our people, to Latinos. We want to be the most trusted mortgage company in the nation. Papa, it is an absolute honor to have you here.
Wow, I'm excited. Are we live?
Thank you for making time.
Oh,
yes,
God.
we're on. So I started a podcast, the Wealth Gap Podcast.
I love it.
We come from the struggle. We're familiar with it. We're going to talk about it. We want to go down the memory lane. We want to talk about everything
best times
we
Best
went
times.
through. We went through together.
Yes.
But we want to also get to know Willie, how he started, where you come from, and then we'll talk some business too, because we want to know what you know. So let's kick it off with that. Let's talk about let's start with like life first. We'll get to business in a little bit. I know quite a bit, but let's share with our people how it was coming from Guate and Willie, how Willie grew up.
All right,
Take us there.
Yeah, so a lot of people don't know this, but I was actually born in New York, right? But I'm really close to my Chapin side, my Guatemalan side. So whenever anyone asks me, I'm from Guatemala.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, let's. I think a good way to get into, how was it growing up and all that. Let's say from my earliest memories, came from a divorced family, right? Parents were actually living in New York. They divorced over there. Then we moved to San Francisco.
Mm-hmm.
That's where I grew up a majority of my life. And what I can tell you was, it's pretty interesting because we grew up poor. I'm talking about poor. I'm talking about we would go to Goodwill and we would buy clothes by the pound. I don't know if they still do that, but back then you could go to Goodwill and a bag, you just throw in a whole bunch of clothes and they would weigh, and that's
No way.
Yeah. So
I've never heard of that.
yeah, so that's how I grew up, just very, very scarce. And then of course you just grow up with that mentality of scarcity. But
Went to college. How were you academics?
I was a C student.
Okay.
Yeah, I never paid attention. I think I had bad ADD. I think I still do. Right.
I don't think it's bad though.
I think I still do. But yeah, school was not my thing. But yeah, of course, I did graduate high school. I did some studying in Guatemala. I went to med school in Guatemala for 2 years. That's it. Wasn't my thing. So
how was that? How
it was nice.
How old were you?
I was at the time, I want to say 22. 22. I lived out there 2 years. Had my own apartment. Got to know the culture a lot more. Got really tight with my family. Right, learned my Spanish really well. So my Spanish it's like really good.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it was nice just to get to learn that side of the culture. But yeah, I came back from Guatemala and bounced around junior colleges.
Yeah.
So probably a good 4 or 5 junior colleges under my belt. But later I realized it just wasn't my thing. School just wasn't my thing. And got into the mortgage business.
Tell us about that. How did you get into the mortgage business?
So I used to work for a life insurance company doing customer service.
Mm-hmm.
Really enjoyed it, by the way. And they were downsizing. Actually, they sold the company and they were sending the operations to Denver. So I was kind enough and I went to Denver to train the new people that were replacing us. And one of my buddies said, "Hey, they're hiring at a mortgage company." I was like, "Bro, let's go apply." So I applied. I got the job right away, and I learned the basics in one day. But like it just like clicked right away. So I started doing that, and I really enjoyed it. So I think I tend to like go off on tangents, but I think in the mortgage business, I think either it's for you or it's not.
Yeah.
For me, when I got into the business, I learned right away it was for me because everything clicked.
Mm. Yeah. So what year was this?
This was, let's see here. Let's
Without
go
age.
back 23 years ago, like 2001.
Mhm.
Yeah, like 2001.
So I've heard about you having a lot of success before the '08 crash.
Mm-hmm.
I'd love for you to talk a little bit about that and the lifestyle, and then when you were even contemplating
Jumping off the bridge.
Yeah. Let's touch on that story because and the recommendation there, because I know there's a lot of lessons here for on top of sharing the story, but the recommendation for anybody that may be going through tough times, especially when you
Oh, wow. Yeah.
boom and then let's talk about that.
Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, when I got into the business, like I mentioned, I just did well right away.
Mhm.
It wasn't hard. I enjoyed it. I actually have never been, believe it or not, the best salesperson in the world.
You feel like you have it, or you are.
No, I feel like I am not the best salesperson in the world. Now, here's what I'm good at is connecting with people. So I think that's key, right? Because there's people that are great at sales, but they just don't connect with their people and they end up losing a lot of people.
What do you think the difference is there? Like, how do you feel you can describe what connecting would look like? I see that. I know that the eye contact. I think that being an active listener. I think that being patient. I think that getting to know the person. Those are things that come to mind for me. What would you add to that?
I think some of those things, they just come naturally, right? I think some things can be taught. Some things cannot be taught. Connecting with someone authentically is really hard to teach, right? Like we could read books. You can tell your team you got to connect with people, and people are, well, I'll connect with them. But if it's not coming from a sincere place, to me, that's just not connecting.
Yeah.
Like if I were to meet you and I didn't know you, I'd be like, man, that guy was amazing.
Well, we'll talk about that because that did happen.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was funny. But okay, so then you were talking about how you kicked it off quick.
Kicked it off really quick. Now here's the thing. I had never made so much money in my life. Okay, because prior to getting into the mortgage business, I think my highest salary was $30,000, right? Because I was doing customer service, right? W-2, 9 to 5 and all that.
Yeah.
I got into the mortgage business. Now I started making $30,000 a month to begin with.
Wow.
To begin with, right? Later, of course, it was a lot more. So I wasn't that smart with money. Right? I wasn't smart with my taxes. Okay, so I just started blowing money, and I tend to be very giving. So I was the kind of guy that would like take out the whole branch for drinks, and it's on me. And right, open tab on Willy Escobar, and I'm the everyone's favorite person for the night. But yeah, I was literally just blowing my money for years. Of course, I made some investments, all that stuff. So I was, even though I've blown my money, I've made some investments along the way. Now what comes with making a lot of money is the lifestyle of the nice car. If you have a nice car, you got to have the nice watch.
Yeah.
Right. So I was learning from some people, by the way, grateful for everything I learned from them, but I was learning from some people where their way of showing me the ropes was buying material things. And that was the thing back in the day, right? Like you had to show up in the beautiful car, and that was your way into real estate offices. Your credibility was based on what you were wearing and what you were driving.
Wow. So then the lesson there, just to land the plane, I hear the importance of having proper mentorship because they will instill what to do with this money when you touch it for the first time. But what would you add to that? Edit any of it?
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I think
I heard about the taxes.
Oh yeah. That was man. Later down the road, I went through an audit. I owed $350,000 to the IRS. Luckily, that's all gone. But yeah, I think in this business, if you have not touched money and you get into the mortgage business, you need to have the right mentorship.
Yeah.
Right? The right mentors that can talk to you about taxes, about investing, about watching your money living below your means.
Yeah.
Right? Like you're doing all the right things, honestly. Because I see you and I see what your team is doing, and they're learning things the wrong way.
Yeah.
Because there isn't one person on your team that I can say, oh man, this guy's just out of control.
La está regando.
Yeah, because back then everyone was doing that.
Yeah.
It was amazing. I could remember I started in Monterey Park, and in front of our building, all you would see is
Mercedes, Beamer, Mercedes.
and everyone's like backing them in, right? That was the thing. Everyone had the 22-inch rims. Everyone's getting in there with the $2,000 suit,
Wow.
the Rolex, all that stuff, open bottle. It was like money in, money out.
So then we talked about you came into the business around 23 years ago. So
It was actually
2002?
2001.
Okay. So you went through
2002, sorry.
your first wave of success, and then 08 happens. So talk about the highs, the lows of being in business, and then that like super low moment in your life where you were even thinking of ending it.
Yeah, so when things are going well and you haven't really been taught a lesson, you don't know that there are ups and downs in real estate, right? So here I am in, let's say 07, 08, the crash. Beautiful office in Mid-Wilshire district, 7,800 square feet. So just think about the overhead. A whole bunch of people on payroll, at a team of about 45 loan officers. I was living the life, right? But again, it was money in, money out.
Yeah.
Then we get the market crash. So I was not good with savings. So imagine having all this overhead and suddenly you see 100% of your production going nowhere. Like I remember me and the team were like looking at the board and we're like, we can't close any of these deals.
Wow.
It was literally like the Wolf of Wall Street. Everyone's like, holy shit, now what? Right? So yeah, shit hit the fan. And of course, when you're not doing well in finances, that affects everything. That affects your health, your relationships.
Our identity as a man.
Oh my God. Yeah, that's the worst. My daughter was born in 08.
Wow.
So imagine going through the market crash, having relationship issues.
Yeah.
Right. And of course, I was partying it up, drinking and
Bad habits.
all those bad habits. Then my daughter's born. Yeah, absolutely. At that point, you just feel less of a man because you're not providing. So that was really tough. Now, in this transition phase, I like to call it, there was a time where I was like, man, I was having so many issues with my wife.
Yeah.
Where I actually didn't even have a car at that point because we couldn't afford my car payment.
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah, we couldn't afford my car payment, and my wife had a friend.
You guys would pay her.
Yeah, her friend rented it out from us for about 6 months.
Yeah.
She needed like a temporary car. And I was like, man, take it because I didn't want it repoed. So she rented it from us for about, I don't know, 4 or 5 months, something like that. And I borrowed my mom's car one day, right? When I drove down to San Pedro, and I was getting ready to jump off the cliff. I mean, I was like right there looking down. So a few things went through my mind. It's kind of funny. I guess I could laugh about it now. But number one is, what if I jump off and I survive? Now that'll be
bad.
I would be, I'd be a paraplegic or something, right? So that wouldn't be good. And then second thought is, who's going to drive back the car to the house? Yeah. Mi mamá va a estar preocupada por su carrito, right? Su Corolita, ¿quién se lo va a llevar?
Oh, that's so funny.
And then number three is, my kids are going to grow up without a dad, right? My wife is going to be husbandless. Now, this is the one, number four. This is the one that had me walk away. I said, and I told myself, you're better than this. I told myself, you are like, this is nothing for you.
Yeah.
Right. Because I've always considered myself to be, in a way, not bulletproof, but I feel I could overcome any obstacle. And I told myself, there's someone somewhere in this world that will be blessed to have your problems.
Wow. It's powerful.
And I walked away at that point.
Yo me acuerdo cuando me contabas estas historias. To me, yo te miraba como Superman. We'll talk about the story where I looked at you and I was like, wow, I'm so sorry. I'm not used to. I remember I used to see you on the phone and it just feels awkward to have you here in front of me.
Yeah.
Y me ponía a pensar, like, wow, like, what? ¿Qué hubiera sido si hubieras hecho eso? I wouldn't have you and I wouldn't feel this progress. To me, it was like I was on my way to become the successful.
We would have never met.
So then I was thinking, wow, like, I'm so glad. Well, obviously you didn't jump, but it was crazy to think that Superman was even contemplating that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So then, you know, the market shifts. You stay in the business. And I want us to talk about, like, how we met.
Mm-hmm.
Pick up wherever you remember us first having contact.
So first time we met was in San Diego.
Mm-hmm.
I was out there with Albert, and we went to a conference. So remember which one?
Una de Todd Duncan.
Todd Duncan, yeah. Todd Duncan. And I remember me and Albert rolled up, and you were outside. I don't know if we were parked, but you came to the car, and we said hi real quick,
Mm-hmm.
and then we said we're gonna have a meet and greet at a bar. Right? Yeah, that was like our thing back then. Let's have a meet and greet, and you showed up to the bar, and now I remember this like clearly, and this is like why you are where you're at. Everyone was drinking. I remember everyone had a Corona in their hand, right?
Yeah.
But Andy had a notebook, right? I was probably already slurring because I used to like drink a lot, right? And Andy was asking me questions, and he was just taking notes. I was like, man, he was the only one that wasn't drinking. And then we went, I think, upstairs because I believe there was a second floor. Same thing. We just kept drinking, and all you were doing was listening, right? Like listening is so powerful, and that's one thing you're very good at is listening. Yeah, and after that you can.
Yeah. So let me add to that.
Yeah.
So I still have the notepad.
No way.
Yeah,
I
I have the
love to
notepad.
see that.
And there were questions there were notes I took from you.
Mm-hmm.
So those are like my prized possessions. Yeah. So I'll share it with you.
No way.
One of these days. And I remember that night, I had about $100 to my name.
Uh-huh.
I pulled up my Bank of America app. I'm like, okay, there's 100. I was like, I think I can afford to buy them around. Y me acuerdo que ahí gasté half of my net worth treating you guys a beer each. But yeah, I remember that for the most part, I was taking notes on the combos that you were having with everybody else. Because I still was not there yet to even have the...
You were.
En mi mente. Yeah. So yo los dejaba que ustedes hablaran y yo tomando mis notas. Yeah. But those are very humbling moments. Now I live a couple blocks from there. It's a little crazy.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah. So after that, I remember I discovered you and I started sending you DMs. Mm-hmm. I came for an interview. Mm-hmm. It wasn't the time.
Oh, that
we
was
could talk
funny.
about that.
That was funny. All right, so check it out. So Andy, when I hired somewhere, when I used to hire people to interview as loan officer, I always want to see if they're ready, mm-hmm. right? Because I had bad experiences before where people would tell me they were ready.
Yeah.
And I'm all about my guidelines. Like, until like today, I am really good with my guidelines, right? So I asked Andy, okay, so yeah, you're pretty good, you know your guidelines? He's like, no, pues ahí más o menos. And I asked you a few guidelines, right? I think it was like 2 or 3. And then after the third one, I was like, yeah, he's not ready.
Yeah. So I remember you did me hiciste como un quiz. Like, answer these.
Oh, yes.
Answer these 10 questions and then come back to me.
Yeah.
And then we'll review them
I had
together.
people take a good old-fashioned quiz.
That's so good. Like, now that we hire, it's something that we were not doing that we started doing recently, because we would interview and they would do great in the interview and the resume says they have a lot of experience, but we didn't test to make sure that they truly know what they say they know.
That's so powerful.
So then what you did was you tested on what I said I knew, and then I failed. So then there was 10 questions. We then met as soon as I was done, and you were asking, so, the minimum down payment for FHA is 5%. I was off. I didn't know yet. So then that happened. And you know what the crazy thing is? Yo en el pasado siempre he sido pues pretty good at interviews. Yeah. So I told all my family, like, hey, I landed an interview. I'm moving.
They had a goodbye party.
Goodbye. They did a farewell dinner. Fue toda mi familia. They're like, pues se nos va para Los Ángeles, que Dios te bendiga, ¿no? Pues, we have faith, y me dieron la bendición.
I love that.
And and then I came to the interview and didn't go so well.
Yeah.
And there I was heading back.
Now here's the good thing. You had 2 cheerleaders.
Yeah.
Okay? Because you're good looking. Everyone knows that. Janet and Christine.
Yeah.
They're like, how'd it go? I was like, he's not ready.
They're like, oh.
They're like, no. And one of them said, no, the dimples, y que no sé qué. And then I was like, he's just not ready, right? And then you followed up with me.
Meses después.
Yeah, a few months later, and we did a FaceTime.
Yeah.
Okay. You were in your car, and something said. So I asked you a question. How long would it take for you to come down here?
So like 2 weeks.
Yeah, 2 weeks. I was like, really? I was like, all right, great, come down. And then you came down 2 weeks later, packed everything in your car. And I remember you had 1 month worth of rent, right?
Yeah.
And we had we created so many. I was thinking about it today, right? I was thinking about, like there's so many people that they are just not ready, right? I mean, once upon a time, we were all not ready for something, right?
Yeah.
We thought we were ready, but we were just ready to kind of show up.
Yeah.
Right? But we weren't ready to put in the work. But I remember when you came, I always wanted to kind of like test you, like a friendly test. And I would say, all right, Andy, and I used to wake up so early before. I don't do it. I still wake up early, but not anymore. But I would tell Andy, hey, 4 a.m. tomorrow. You ready? So we would show up at 4 a.m. And I think we would kind of like race to the elevator to see who was a few minutes late. We did that many times.
So do you have a favorite memory?
Here are some memories. We would always be training, whether it was 4 a.m., 5 a.m., listening to reggaeton. Remember that?
Yeah.
The reggaeton, the same videos, los mismos videos de reggaeton.
I think I got him into Bad Bunny.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's funny.
Andy had some shoes that were tore from the front. Remember that? And I'd be like, Andy, I was like, you can't go on interviews like that. Pero Andy le valía, bro. Okay, because he was so determined, no le importaba. Y andaba con los pantalones rotos aquí, de lado. Y así se iba. I mean, so many things that it's kind of like, and it's funny because Andy calls me Apa now, right? And I think that's very endearing. But there are so many moments that we had that I felt like, como que es mi hijo. Like I had to like slap him a few times. I remember one time, I think you and Juanito, a realtor, was coming by to drop off keys. And you guys were both on the couch, así like durmiendo, right?
Yeah.
God, so many memories. I just have a lot of good memories walking down Colorado, and us just having these very great conversations. Very like just like a few ideas here and there, and I remember you going to visit realtors without knowing what the hell you were talking about, right? But to me, it's like you didn't care, right? You didn't need to have all the information. You didn't care what it looked like, right? But I think according to you, you had enough. You had enough information to get by, which is to me, I think it's a key to success to not have to know everything before you go out there and take that risk.
A mí me gustó mucho cuando fuimos a, no me acuerdo qué estado era, creo era Atlanta, or was it Atlanta?
Atlanta.
Yeah, to me that was where I
had
felt
old fashioned.
You introduced me to old fashions, and now that's my go-to drink because it reminds me of that first. So that was crucial because pues soy tu mayor admirador, and then you give me an opportunity to travel with you, and I feel like that created a different type of relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Y de ahí ya luego los de Puerto Rico, and then I mean anytime that you would invite me to lunch, you would always take me to fancy restaurants where I didn't recognize the menus.
Oh yeah.
And all those were times that I was like, that's so cool that he's taking time to take me out.
Oh yeah. I remember we went to eat at ¿cómo se llama esta place? Off of Colorado, a True Food Kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, hey, Andy, you want some hummus? He's like, ¿qué es eso, papá?
Mm-hmm.
Remember you didn't know what hummus was?
Yeah.
We went shopping to Banana Republic. Remember? And I was throwing you all kinds of clothes. Hey, you need a clothes. Try this on. Como puro papá. Yo le está pasando la ropa.
Yo dije, ahorita, pues, he's probably gonna, porque me está aventando un chingo de ropa. I'm like, is he gonna pay for all this? Like, he's just throwing a bunch of shit at you. And, I ended up picking up the tab. But remember the story I told about how I was already applying for the credit card to get a discount?
Yeah.
And then you come up and you...
I was like, don't apply for the credit card.
What are you doing?
You pay for it.
He said, well, I'm going to get a
No,
20% discount. You're like, no, buddy, don't do it. Y yo en mi mente, ya me había calculado la señora, no, pues you're going to save like $300. Y yo en mi mente, I was like, fuck, that's good.
Yeah. I remember the bill was close to $1,000.
Yeah, and you said, like, don't do it.
Yeah.
Y le dije a la señora, hey, cancel the application.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just going to pay for it.
Mm-hmm.
Y me dijo, well, what happened? Le dije, well, I don't know. He just told me not to, so he's who I listen to. So we're canceling the transaction. And I think that was powerful. Me surrendering to my belief system, knowing that my best thinking produced my current reality, and I didn't like my current reality, so I surrendered to your belief system because I wanted more of what I saw from your life.
Yeah.
And I know you would always tell me, I have you're amongst my top 2 mentees. Y yo en mi mente decía, well, I want to make sure that I work on becoming your top mentee.
I'll announce it to everyone. You're the number one now.
Really? That's a big accomplishment. Because I made that a personal goal, man. De que un día dijeras like what you just said.
Yeah, you are. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, in many ways, right? Because I think you have embodied what real success is, in my opinion, right? Which is obviously the finances. It's a product of everything that you've been working hard for, right? Becoming a family man. Now you're married. Beautiful family. I love your family. Your team, right? And I've told you this before. There isn't one person on your team, because I would tell you, there isn't one person on your team that like they rub me the wrong way, or I think, like this person is up to something, like be careful with this person. Not one person. And that's hard to find, especially in this business, right? Because this business, in most companies, it's numbers. It is what it is, right? Everyone's figuring out how to become profitable. Now, what you've done is you've become profitable, but you're achieving so many things that many companies wish they could be doing, right? Faith, family, fitness, finances, all that stuff. And you guys are all making it happen, right? So many members on your team, they're multiple 6 figures. They're investing in real estate. Everyone's working out. Everyone's like strong in their faith. There isn't one company out there I think that could match that right now.
Wow.
That's hard. That's hard.
That's what I was going to ask you. Te iba a preguntar, being the godfather, like casi el abuelo de la compañía.
That's fun.
What you believe to be some of the things that we're doing right that is helping us progress the way we have been these past few years?
I love what you've been putting out there in social media. Is that now is the time for you to expand with the right people, right? And eventually the day will come where it's going to be like, all right, let's open it up for more people, and right, let's grow this, right? But you've been very, very selective.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's very important because in this business.
Well, I got that from you.
Thank you. And that was my thing. Like I would sit down with someone, and if it just didn't feel right, and I made a few mistakes, we all do, right? But I would say a good 95% of the people that I would hire, I'd be like, man, I'm excited. They're excited. It feels good. It's family. I don't feel threatened. They don't feel threatened. It's it's a collaboration. It's family, and yeah, that's what you've been doing. So yeah, just taking your time and hiring the right people, the ones that are there because it's the right company for them, and it's not just about the money.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I know you've said it's
yeah,
and that's beautiful. I love it when you say that. I'm like, oh my God, and they're still growing, right? Like I see consistent. Okay, this person just got hired. Happy birthday to this person. I'm like, I didn't even know that person was already with the company, right? And it's like, it's beautiful what you guys are doing. So keep hiring the right people. That's it. Do not, at least yet, do not make any exceptions. Do not hire someone where there's a small gut feeling that it's just not the right fit.
Got it. So you tell me if it's the exact same advice or if you would add anything. But some of our team members are already growing their teams. Alex ya tiene su 7-8. Sandra también tiene su 7-8.
Yeah.
You had small teams, mid-sized teams, large teams on things that have worked, things to look out for.
Yeah.
What would you recommend to my leaders that are growing their personal teams? Because we're entering a season where not everybody gets filtered through me. Sometimes I just hear that someone got added on and they're onboarding. But it's through someone else's filtering. Mm-hmm. And of course, I'm in their ear all the time, but hearing it from our godfather.
I would say don't make any exceptions, right? Like stay true to the culture. Right now, the culture that you guys have is hiring people that are good people, whatever that may mean, right? Don't make any exceptions. That's it. If something doesn't feel right, it's for a reason. You already know something's going to happen with that person. And maybe that person's just about the money. Maybe that person isn't about what you guys are teaching. Just don't hire them. Take your time. Because I've made the mistake in the past where I grew too quick. Okay? And I think that's a big mistake because sometimes it has to do with ego. Like I've done this several times. I wanted to grow up a big-ass team because I wanted us to take a big picture. Look at me and my team.
Wow.
Okay. And that was me and my ego saying I could build it bigger and better than everyone else, right? But with that came headaches. It came, just imbalance in my life. Now, if you grow it with the right people, you can still manage to be very productive, right? Like I think a good sized team, in my opinion, is 10 and below. That's it. I was going to say 5.
Yeah. So I read up on this. It's usually 10 to 12.
Right.
Being your direct downline. And then they can have their 10, 12. 10, 12, 10, 12. And then whoever wants to keep going, 10, 12, 10, 12. Yeah. It could be 10, 12 or 8, 12. But point is that's kind of like the healthy balance.
That's it. Yeah, absolutely. Because there's so many things to train on, right? You have to train on culture. You have to train on marketing. Then you have to be that person's mentor when it comes to finances. You got to be there for their families. So many things. Yeah, 10 to 12, I think, is the right number until you get to the point where, and I give someone on your team this advice to DM, until you get to the point where I'm ready to take it to the next level, then you find someone that's a mini you, right? Someone that's like almost like at your level and they're on board with everything that you guys are teaching. Then at that point, like you said, then you grow something over here. But let's say for just one person, it's too much anything above 10, 12.
So mentorship.
Mm-hmm.
How important has mentorship been in your success?
It's been huge. I've had different kinds of mentors, right? And every mentor is going to be good for something.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, like I don't think there is one mentor that's good for everything. Some mentors will be good at teaching you go out there and get it. Some mentors will be good at showing you the marketing side, finances, investing. I think everyone needs a mentor at some level. Like some mentors might be great at teaching you the business, but they might not be the best mentors to teach you how to be a good husband. Okay, so I think it's completely fine to have a few different mentors.
Mm-hmm.
And a mentor could even be a book.
Mm.
A mentor could be someone you're following on YouTube and learning from. Yeah, but it's huge. Everyone needs one.
So we have a lot of our team members right now. We have about a third that have completed MITT.
I love that.
What comes to mind? Oh, and you should see the dinners that we have after.
Mm-hmm.
Matter of fact, the way invitaron, si tienes chance whenever they...
Please.
What comes to mind there? And if you could share maybe one of the biggest takeaways that you had
From MITT?
from MITT.
Oh my God. It's just beautiful. So I don't know who I was talking to, but I was sharing with this person that a lot of your company is going through MITT. Yeah. Right? And I remember when I had my office in the Mid-Wilshire area, Pasadena, a good 80 to 90% had gone through MITT.
I remember that.
That's why the vibe, the culture was like amazing, right? So biggest takeaways from MITT, number one is take risk.
Yeah.
Right? You matter. Value yourself. Think big. Stop being so apologetic for who you are. Right? Because many times we hold back who we are because of what it's going to look like to others. Right? If we put that to the side and we really start living our lives the way we want to live it, I think we'd be much happier.
Yeah, a mí me ayudó bastante. I think it was a perfect time. I did it about 3 months after moving down and then started coaching with Coach David as well. Mm-hmm. Those two things that you introduced me to were game changer. I was watching the video yesterday where you recognized me in front of Patrick, in front of Grant, in front of Tim Grover, in front of all these crazy influencers shortly after moving. So it was like really fast, pero también acababa de terminar advanced. Mm-hmm. It's recorded. Ayer estaba Trish. You'll need to meet her. She's a new team member, 22 years in the business. She's freaking amazing. Lombas, Fernando, Alex Montalvo, Danny was there. Yeah, so they were all there. Juanito. And I was showing them videos of how it all started. Mm-hmm. Videos of us. When you would record me and I was just winging it off top and it sounds,
I still have all those videos.
Yeah, it just, it's how it was. But we have it recorded there where you start saying, oh, with my my rising star, just moved from Modesto. Yep, he's here. And then they switched camera to me and I'm like, oh, shit.
Oh, yeah, I remember that moment.
I'm like, oh, shit. They're about to throw me up there. I remember started panicking. Yeah. And playing these stories in my head that what am I going to say? How is it going to be perceived? And just fear and insecurity.
I was proud of that.
Yeah. So then these things started showing up for me. And then I had just finished advance. So I revisited my contract. Mm-hmm. And then I'm like, if I walk in my identity, present, fearless, focused leader. Nice. Present, fearless, focused leader. So then, so then it's here. And people can feel it. And when I think about connecting with people and going deeper and like, I think of that. So then I thought of fearless leader. Fearless leaders go on stage and they don't bitch about it. And they're not overly concerned about what people are going to think about you. You're supposed to go up there. So then when I revisit it, it took me 10 seconds to realign. Y me acuerdo que no salió como me hubiera gustado. It's not too bad, but I just remember I was clear in my mind that like I was good. I'm supposed to be up here.
You owned it. Well, you deserved it too.
Yeah, so that was powerful. And yeah, our team is transforming. The conversations are way more impactful because they could be open and honest, and you know that the recipient is going to be clear that the intentions are coming from a good place. So then we have an easier time saying what needs to be said, and not being misinterpreted.
Right.
But it takes a certain level of development.
Oh, yeah.
So then that's helping with all that.
That's huge.
¿Qué tal ahorita donde te encuentras, Apa? How would you define success today versus like when you first started?
Oh, wow. It's way, way different. So, So I think, okay, we're let's see here.
And I'll tell you why. Mira, ahorita tengo a Justin, que acaba de terminar Advance. And he's like, I have my priorities effed up. He's like, the only he's in New Jersey right now visiting his dad after MITT because he's reassessing what he would have described as success.
Yeah.
And him is more loans, more money, more transactions, more. And he's like, you know what, bro? I have it all maxed. I'm leaving.
Yeah. And we all go through that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Good for him. Yeah. So I think, I think where I am today is, completely different than where I was before, right? Like today, my days start with journaling, reading 3 different books, going to the gym, eating right. I'm hardly ever drinking. Back then, I used to drink, right? Not daily.
I remember on the planes we used to do our little what was it? Whiskey, Coke.
Yeah. But yeah, now I can tell you, let's say as a family man, I'm much more present to my family. Like to me, it's huge. Like I haven't missed any of my kids' sporting events, nothing at their schools. I will put anything to the side for them. Like I think when you know what value you bring to the business, you are not afraid to say no to appointments. You are okay sending people to voicemail, right? That's why I think it's very important for everyone to master what they do, because people will wait to speak with you. Okay, but also I think what's helped me mature in many different ways is my circle. Okay, like my circle. Let's just go back a few years. My circle was completely different than what it is today. Now my circle it's more people that are focused on becoming better men, better fathers, better husbands, and people that are also investing time in becoming more spiritual, right? Like to me, all that's important. So I think in order for you to become wealthy or to feel successful, I think all that needs to change. Because success to a lot of people is the car that you're driving, the money that you're making. Now, I think success, it begins with having your priorities straight, right? Spiritual, family, right? Your health, your fitness, contribution, right?
Wow.
Contributing to others. And as a result of all that, the money's just going to follow. Yeah, so.
That's incredible. ¿Qué tal en esta última temporada? Like, what's something that you had to unlearn about your old self that has helped you grow into the Willie that we have here before us?
Unlearn about myself? Something that comes to mind is the drinking. Yeah, because I remember when we used to go out back in the days, I didn't know how to socially drink. So I never drank during the week. I still don't drink during the week. But back then when we used to go out, I remember I would get nice and happy almost every time. right? But it was, yeah, I think that's the biggest thing I needed to unlearn is that in order to have a good time, I didn't need alcohol. So now when I go out, yeah, don't get me wrong, I'm not gonna lie. Every few months, yeah, I'll have, a few extra drinks but I'll do it responsibly around the right people, having the right conversations too. But now when I go out, I'll have one or two drinks and that's pretty much it. Yeah.
Good.
I think that's the biggest thing. Also, another thing I needed to unlearn was that working 12 hours a day, it's actually not necessary.
Mm.
Yeah. So my days, I still work my complete days, but now my mindset is more abundant than it was before. Back then it was scarce. Back then it was, if I don't pick up this call, I'm going to lose a business partner, I'm going to lose a client. Now I just feel like I know what's the value of bringing. I consider myself to be a master at what I do, and then people don't mind waiting.
I love it.
So more of an abundant mentality.
I really like it. So for me, one of the biggest accomplishments after going from Pasadena branch to opening up our own thing was preserving our relationship. Because I can see how when there's transitions like that, people can easily stop supporting each other. The love somehow decreases, the affinity. What do you think helped us continue to have the same love for each other?
I think we were both responsible, right? Like I couldn't be mad at you. I mean, for what? Like I don't hold grudges, you know what I mean? I think that's the dumbest thing, especially in business. Like when people want to grow, when people want to create their own wings, man, let them, right? Like be happy for them, right? Like I will forever be proud of you. I'll be proud of myself that I put the time into helping you, right? But and same thing, right? We sat down and I could tell that you were coming from a good place, right? We will always have that love for each other, and yeah, it's like family when we see each other.
So would you say that was the toughest? Tell us about the toughest moments that we shared together. The toughest conversation, the toughest memory.
Toughest memory. Elaborate a little bit. Like,
como yo me acuerdo our meeting in Pasadena at a coffee shop where you were saying, buddy, I think that give me another year. Let me help you develop one more year. And then if you want to do whatever you want to do, I support you.
But he moved on, right?
Yeah. So then,
yeah,
I was like, Apa, pero I want to do it. I need your blessing now. Like I got an opportunity to partner up with Mari. She finally subscribed to, this vehicle, this journey, partnering up. I need your blessing. But it was the toughest thing because it's, you're Apa. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I remember. I think we were at Panini Cafe.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would say that was it because let's say as a mentor, sometimes you feel the mentee is not ready to move on, right? But I've been a mentee in the past too. And when you have that urge, just because, it's like the adrenaline's, pumping you feel you're ready and you're ready as well for the challenges, and you have to do what you have to do. So of course, was I heartbroken? Yeah, absolutely, right? Because it was like breaking up with your favorite girlfriend, right?
Favorite girlfriend.
At that time, it was like the favorite boyfriend. Okay, but I understood that you were also someone very powerful, and I couldn't be selfish either, right? Because I know that there's levels to this, okay? And you were at a level where I needed to understand it was possible that maybe I wasn't going to be the right person to help you to get to that next level, right? Like I understand there's only so much a mentor can do for someone, and at a certain point, that person says, "Thank you, I appreciate it. Let's hug it out. I will always, thank you for everything, but it's my moment to move on.
Yeah. So
And that was it.
till this day, I admire so much of how you conduct yourself as a man and a businessman, because I remember the combos we had after where you almost apologized, and it was like, hey, I was doing some soul searching, and I just want you to know that you have my support.
Mm-hmm.
You going off and doing whatever, you still have me for whatever else, I can do for you.
Yeah.
And you showed up to an event, and you showing up was, aside from mom, was like the most important attendee at that event. So it took a lot of maturity
Mm-hmm.
in your behalf. And that has also been something I've adopted, because we've had people leave.
Mm-hmm.
And I choose to subscribe to your way of doing things. And it's actually allowed, the graceful exit has allowed for people to actually realize, you know what? I made a mistake. What are the possibilities we can partner up again?
That's
and
beautiful.
people, we're in the season where people are coming back. And it's because of how we handled the exit,
Mm-hmm.
which I learned from you. So I think that's...
I thank you. I think that's the only way to do it. Right? Like I think in this business, there are some people that handle those exits so so wrong that it's like, no, it's like, people are here to grow and make choices, and there's options, and it's okay. Like we're both benefiting from each other, so it's fine, right? And also I think it's important to come from abundance too.
Yeah.
Okay, more people will join the team. Hey, we both made money. It was mutually beneficial, and it's okay. And if it's meant to be, this person comes back, or this person will grow, and you can at least pat yourself on the back, like, man, I had something to do with that, right? Like for me, that is wealth, knowing I helped you achieve something, right? It could have been the advice, it could have been the 4 a.m. teachings, whatever it was, but yeah,
Yeah, yo creo que ahorita no ahorita, our secret weapon as of right now has been culture. And culture was what I adopted from you. So it's been our foundation. And that's why we've been able to weather these storms these last few years.
Mm-hmm.
So I have to credit you for helping me realize like what this company that we want to build needs to be founded on. So thank you for that, Apa.
Welcome.
A como me ves ahorita y como ves la compañía, and I don't know if I've told you this, but our goal is to be the largest brokerage that is catering to our people, to Latinos. We want to be the most trusted mortgage company in the nation.
Yeah.
What advice do you have for me at the moment? It's not I want it when and if the man upstairs wants that for us as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm accepting of when, and I'm accepting if. But at the very least, that's my personal target for our company. But what advice would you have for me?
Grow at the right pace. It's very important. Like what you have been doing throughout the years is just growing with the right people. Don't change that. Even if it takes longer, it's fine. You're still young. So for sure, the way you're doing it, you're going to outgrow many companies, right? Because there are companies, they're paying for recruiters. They have tons of ads, right? Maybe they're offering other perks, but no one is talking about what you're talking about. No one's doing what you're doing, which is the culture, right? So I think the way you're doing it and growing it slowly, just keep doing it. Even if it's takes an extra 5 or 10 years to grow it to 1,000 people, whatever that number is.
Mm-hmm.
I guarantee you have a much less rate of people leaving compared to a lot of big companies that are just focused on the numbers.
¿Qué tal para ti? What's something that you're excited about? What are you working on that excites you about the future?
Good question. So right now, I'm focusing on working more with developers. That's been my thing. Yeah, developers. Going to start getting into commercial. still doing, of course, the first-time home buyers and all that. That's my bread and butter. We're closing those in 14 days, by the way. No, just kidding. But I think I've done so many loans for first-time home buyers. I still enjoy those, but I think my calling is more working with the developers right now, right? I'm doing hard money loans as well. So yeah, just kind of reshifting my focus.
Nice. So we'll end with this, Apa. Your biggest life lesson so far that you'd love to share with our audience.
Take care of your health. I'll throw a few out there. Surround yourself with the right people. Okay. Do not compromise who you are over money. And do not make any exceptions to your core values.
I love it. Where do our people follow you, Apa, in case anybody is not following you already?
At the Willy Escobar.
Awesome. Thank you for making time for me, Apa.
Thank you. Love you.
Love you.
Friday.